As a marketer, I bet you have heard about behavior science principles, and in fact, you must have already used them. But do you know all the behavior science principles? Do you know what are the examples behind each? Let's talk about that in today's video. Social proof. You have heard about this before, haven't you? And you, in fact, must have used this in your marketing and content strategy. What is it? Well, social proof is very widely used behavior science principle that talks about people are more likely to trust and follow the action of others. It provides a sense of safety and assurance that it is tried and tested. What brands use it? Let's take an example of TripAdvisor. If you have gone on the site, you would recollect seeing that hotels and trips are endorsed by several people. When numerous people share positive review and high rating for a hotel on TripAdvisor, it signals to you that others have had a good experience here. This kind of gives you a reassurance that this hotel is something that you should choose, and people are more likely to do business with that particular hotel. So yeah, when you are making your communication to your customer, if you are including social proofs, ratings and review, whether you are sending an app download campaign, if you are including how much rating that the app already has, so many people have endorsed and you should too. And if you are on Amazon, you see a lot of ratings there, and before making a purchase, you go and scroll through what others are saying, and that kind of gives you an assurance, a reassurance that you can trust the brand and you can buy the product. The second principle is a very interesting principle. It's the principle of reciprocity. And you would see that in your real life also. You reciprocate. When someone gives you something, you give them back. So yeah, the principle of reciprocity taps into our natural inclination to give back when we receive something. It fosters a sense of obligation. A very good use case of this principle is an example of Dropbox, where Dropbox offered extra storage space to users who referred friends to platform for free. And in fact, users felt a sense of reciprocity and were motivated to refer Dropbox to others, leading to significant user growth. Reciprocity is also commonly used in referral programs across brands. So if you are trying to acquire high quality customers, then you should give your existing customer some kind of incentive to refer more and more people so that they bring more to the table to your brand. Now we will discuss third behavior science principle, which is anchoring. Anchoring takes advantage of the human tendency to rely heavily on the first piece of information encountered when making decision. Let's take an example of a very famous brand, Apple. Apple often presents its highest price product as the first option when they are introducing a product line. This initial high price becomes as the reference point for comparison, making the other less expensive options seem like a better deal, right? And you must have experienced this yourself. They often show product price variant in three ranges: the highest, the middle one, and the least expensive one. And then you often tend to not choose the least expensive one because you don't want to be someone choosing the lowest variant. You don't want to choose the highest because of course it might be out of budget or it would be too expensive. You would choose something which is in between, right? How can you use anchoring when it comes to your brand? So if a customer is buying something from you for the first time, their first experience with you is something definitely you should make very high quality, because that becomes their anchor point about perception of your brand. And hence it's super important that you anchor your brand correctly in the minds of customer. The fourth one is cognitive ease. What is cognitive ease? Something which is very easy to do, very simple to execute. People naturally prefer things that are easy to understand and processes because it conserves mental energy and reduces uncertainty. What could be a great example of the same? Well, Google is. When you go to Google search, do you see a lot of navigation options, a lot of things that you need to choose from? No, right? You just see a search bar, right, where you just supposed to go and type your query, type your question, type whatever comes to your mind, whatever you are looking for. So yes, the reduction in cognitive effort requires users to make decisions really quickly, making them more likely to choose Google over complicated other alternatives. In fact, another example is GPay. GPay started off with just UPI. It was very simple to just scan anything and just pay. No more complication like other financial solution apps where you see a lot in the navigation, a lot of things popping up, a lot of choices, etc., which makes it a little more complicated and kind of adds friction in users' mind to use it more often. So yeah, Google Pay is very good example of an app that has reduced the cognitive load and increased the cognitive ease. So when you are making your app, you need to keep cognitive ease in mind so that customer chooses you very easily. Fifth one, another very common principle that we have been using mischievously as marketers: scarcity. Do you remember those FOMO communications that you send out, creating fear of missing out? Yes, that's correct. Scarcity leverages the fear of missing out and the perception that limited availability makes something more valuable. Amazon uses it, all e-commerce brands use it, because remember seeing on Amazon where you are scrolling through the feed, you would see only one product left, only so many left. Booking.com, for example, often displays a message, only 2 rooms left at this price, and the price increases after this. This kind of creating urgency makes user to book quickly for fear of losing out the opportunity, and that kind of increases the conversion rate. Now, the sixth one is authority. What is authority? People tend to trust and follow the guidance of credible experts, right? Remember that one person in your class that you always trusted, or the teacher or a mentor that you always trusted. For example, I personally trust HubSpot a lot when it comes to anything related to email marketing or lead generation, because they have comprehensive range of free content. In fact, they have a free content on content marketing also. So they are kind of a trust of authority for me when it comes to when the content marketing comes to my mind. So by aligning their authoritative voice as a brand, HubSpot gains credibility and attracts professionals seeking valuable knowledge towards them. Another example is Canva. So if you have to learn anything regarding design, or if you want to quickly create design, who would you go to? Canva, of course, because they have so many templates. They already predict what all needs creatives would have and creators would have, and they already have content there. So that kind of authority really helps a brand. So if you are an influencer, content creator, or a brand, think about ways through which you can gain this kind of authority in your customer's mind. Another one is storytelling. All marketers are storytellers. Why does it work? Stories are engaging and relatable. Creating an emotional connect with an audience is really easily possible when it comes to story. Remember those childhood days when as a kid you would hear to story either on TV or by grandma, or whether by your parents. So these stories really make things memorable. Remember Nike's Dream Crazy campaign. Nike's campaign featured Kaepernick. In the campaign, it used his story and values to inspire and create a conversation. This emotional connection led to a widespread discussion and increased brand loyalty. And all strong brands do that. Apple does it, Google does it, everyone does it. I have another video on Nike's Dream Crazy campaign that I'll link in the comments to check it out. So now 8th one is loss aversion. Like we all we don't want to be prone to any kind of losses. For example, Duolingo uses it very well because people are more motivated to avoid losses than acquire equivalent gains, right? So Duolingo uses daily streaks and reminders to keep user engaged in language learning. If users miss a day, they lose their streak, and people don't want to lose their streak because we are averse to losses. This taps into loss aversion principle, motivates user to continue learning and avoid loss in their progress. So think of ways how you can use loss aversion when it comes to promoting your brand or product. Ninth one is emotional appeal. We all are emotional beings. Emotions plays a significant role in decision making, and content that elicits emotion over logic always wins. You know about this brand called Always, which is into feminine hygiene. They launched this campaign called as Like a Girl, and always challenged stereotypes with their Like a Girl campaign, aiming to empower young girls. The emotional appeal of the message resonated with viewers, creating a lasting impression and positive brand association, giving brand a very significant brand uplift via this campaign. So you see, by incorporating these behavior science principles into your content marketing, for example, driving urgency by using scarcity encourages immediate action, boosting credibility by using authority figures or experts can lead to credibility to your content and brand, like it was doing for HubSpot. Engaging through stories like Coca-Cola and Nike will help you engage with your customers at a deeper level. Motivate action by using loss aversion principles, that if you don't do this you will miss a streak or something like that. Influence perception by priming the customer, and create a lasting impression by telling an emotional story. These are some ways that you can leverage behavior science principle. Of course, building trust by using social proof and reciprocity, influencing decision making by using anchoring that sets the stage of how customers perceive the value of your offering, and reducing friction by making cognitive load lower, increasing cognitive ease. These are some ways that through which you can become a very solid brand. So do use them in your content marketing communication strategy, and do let me know if you have any queries and questions. I have other videos that are linked to this one that I will drop in the comments. See you in the next video.